Canada is on track to face its worst ever year of wildfire destruction.
Somalia is one of the most dangerous and devastated places on Earth.
Over 10 years of nearly continuous drought here has driven nearly 50% of the country to the brink of famine.
Climate protesters in Germany marched through the streets on Friday, and more demonstrations are expected around the world.
If we keep calling for a change and an end to fossil fuel, we can make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. We are the change that we need, and we need to force that change.
Come fast.
Conflict broke out in Sudan. It's being waged by two rival generals in Sudan.
In the last 4 years, people have been protesting in order to get democracy, and they now feel like there's a huge setback.
Hundreds of Israeli soldiers are on the ground. The Israeli military says they're seizing weapons and explosives.
Gunshots echoing through the Jenin refugee camp, smoke billowing into the sky. The Israel Defense Forces launched their largest West Bank operation in 2 decades.
This morning, Israel under attack. Palestinian militant group Hamas launching a massive, unprecedented military operation.
232 people have been killed. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is at war.
Several dozen Israelis were taken hostage and brought to Gaza, including women and young children.
הכוח הגברי רק האמין במלחמה והביא רק מלחמה לשני הצדדים. ואנחנו, הכוח הנשי, אנחנו זה משהו חדש ששומעים אותו, שאנחנו ביחד, הולכות ביחד, מובילות ביחד, מקשיבות אחת לשנייה ומבינות את הצרכים של אחת של השני.
У нас все було добре, і до нас прийшло таке лихо.
We see with every passing day the damage done to the lives, hopes, and futures of Ukrainian women and girls.
Today, women around the world are facing increased hardship. We've seen shrinking of civic spaces, their rights being violated, access to services including reproductive rights, increase in gender-based violence, all affecting women disproportionately.
Women bear the brunt of conflict in all parts of the world.
The UN said Afghanistan is the most repressive country for women after the Taliban's takeover erased their rights. Women there may be down, but they are not out. The Afghan all-girls robotics team has not given up on a more equal future.
Our friends are still there, and they will be the future scientists, the future leaders, the future engineers.
Afghan girls can be amazing if they are given the opportunity.
India remains one of the most dangerous countries in the world for women.
87. This is the number of rape cases India records every day on average.
A viral video showing 2 naked and assaulted Kuki women being paraded has sparked outrage across India.
The central government has really put a blind eye or deaf ears to all this violence which has been happening.
As in many across the country, women are gathering to support each other. There is anger and a growing resolve.
Rallies around the world marked International Women's Day today.
මෙතන උද්ඝෝෂණයක් කළා රැලියක් තියනකොට තමයි මේ පොලිසිය ඉතාමත්ම ඕනකමින් ඝට්ටනයක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න උත්සාහ කළා මේ ඉන්න මෙතන ඉන්න මේ රටේ පුරවැසියා.
We are here to call out the Philippine government to uphold the rights of women workers.
Dan memang kita melihat apa yang dilakukan oleh negara ini sudah betul-betul menempatkan perempuan dalam posisi yang terus-menerus mengalami kekerasan dan ketidakadilan. Bukan hanya di satu isu gitu. Jadi kita melihat kekerasan itu ya, pertama kekerasan seksual masih banyak terjadi meskipun undang-undang TPKS baru saja disahkan, tapi sampai hari ini itu tetap terjadi.
Coast to coast, an army of women.
We believe in women.
Defending reproductive rights.
From this moment on, we are not afraid. We will not be quiet. We will let women speak.
बट मैंने ये सोच लिया कि मुझे इसके खिलाफ लड़ना है और ये मतलब मुझे कुछ भी हो जाए, मेरी जान भी चली जाए, पर मुझे जो लोगों के साथ हिंसा हो रही है वो विक्टिम बन के मर रहे हैं, मुझे ऐसे नहीं मरना है, मुझे लड़ते हुए मरना है, मुझे एक विक्टिम की तरह नहीं, मुझे एक लीडर की तरह मरना है.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Lehman College. My name is Efren Ordóñez Garza, Assistant Director for Outreach and Partnerships at the CUNY Mexican Studies Institute. And I am here representing our director, Jose Higuera Lopez. We are honored to be hosting the League of Professional Theater Women and the Gilder Coigney International Theater Award, celebrating Petrona de la Cruz, winner of this year's award, and her sister nominees. Before moving on to the ceremony, I want to share who we are and what we do at the Mexican Studies Institute here at Lehman. As an organization, the MSI seeks to boost Mexican and Mexican-American students' enrollment and foster research with and about Mexico and Mexicans in the United States by collaborating with community-based organizations. The MSI is an umbrella for other initiatives that work to reach our goals. To name them briefly, our book fair, the Feria Internacional del Libro de Nueva York, promotes Spanish literature by celebrating our language in the fall of every year. We're just coming out of a very successful 5th edition. The Educational Opportunities Initiative serves the community by providing information about free educational resources across New York City and New York State. CUNY Becarios aims to award highly motivated students to continue their education by providing them with internship opportunities, a mentorship program, professional development workshops, and leadership training. The Archives and Library organizes and preserves bibliographical sources that document the Mexican experience in New York and store and digitize historical documentation of the Mexican diaspora before it is no longer available. The Oral History Project is a TV show documenting the Mexican-American community's New York City experiences, challenges, and contributions. And finally, the Indigenous Languages Project works hand-to-hand with the IDLC, a partnership of the Institute for Latin American Studies at Columbia University, the Mexican Studies Institute at Lehman College, and the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies at New York University to preserve native languages. As you can see, the Institute offers a space for the Mexican community to consider its own, an institutional location for support of scholarly and community advocacy projects for Latin American and immigrants, a platform for different cultures to celebrate their heritage, and we are proud to be a strong promoter of the arts. Now, after welcoming you, without further ado, I'll turn the podium over to our distinguished guests to start with the celebration of culture, women, and the arts. Once again, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Efren. Thank you. And thank everybody here who came out this evening. Shout out to Jessica on the God mic in the booth, and thank you to all the folks who are supporting us here tonight. I'm Linda Chapman. I'm co-director, along with Joan Firestone, of this year's program. Women on Stage and in the Street describes our brilliant 2023 artists, finalists, nominees, and Petrona de la Cruz, tonight's awardee. I want to, a special thanks to Jimena Laura for translating for Petrona and for taking such great care all the way through. We couldn't do this without you. Now, I want to introduce you all to our inspiration for these awards, Joan Firestone.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. As a longtime member of the League of Professional Theatre Women, I was drawn early on to work we do with international artists. I enjoyed a relationship with Martha Coigney, who we will soon hear more about, and she inspired me and other League members to develop relationships with our colleagues across the globe. With Martha's encouragement, the International Theatre Award program was initiated in 2011. Designed to be celebrated every 3 years, a strategy was created to identify and celebrate exceptional women theater artists from across the globe who are also social activists, to be introduced by members of the global community. It explains why, as we honor and celebrate the extraordinary artists of 2023, we introduce them in the context of the challenging circumstances in which they function, warriors as well as artists on the battlefields of change. Major environmental handicaps, gender discrimination, authoritarian constraints, hunger, and lack of education prevail throughout the globe. As you will see through excerpts of their work, artists confront these obstacles head on with the tools of their medium and enormous will. Change does happen. We introduced panel discussions in 2020, bringing artists from across borders together in discussion. Managing the panel discussions in 2020 proved to be an asset in ongoing communications. Zoom became the go-to medium that encouraged communications with our international colleagues on a more regular basis, immeasurably enhancing our relationships, and led to the growth and success of the Theater in the Streets program. Thanks.
Thank you, Joan. And we have 3 more panel discussions, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, 3 o'clock at La Mama. So we will continue the discussions there. Now, the Gilder Coigney program is a project of the International Committee of the League of Professional Theatre Women. So, who better to tell us about the League than our new president, Lenny Godfrey?
Long walk. Well, good evening. How are you all doing? Good, right? Yes. Let me say, I want to congratulate you, Patrona de la Cruz. Congratulations to you. But there are a couple of other acknowledgments that I'd like to make today, because it is a very wonderful thing that happens this evening, and it doesn't happen by itself. And so I'd like to acknowledge Joan Firestone, Melody Brooks, Linda Chapman. I want you to understand that they have displayed tireless efforts to preserve and sustain this international struggle and achievement of the international women of our theatrical community. Their teamwork is tireless, passionate, and thankless. And I know about these things. But they persist forward anyway. I want to also acknowledge the devoted team of producers, which include the LPT members that also include Melody Brooks, Jessica Guerrero, Melanie Sutherland, and Malini McDonald. Now let me speak a little bit about the League, and then I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I'm so excited about being your current president, and I thank you so very much for allowing me to have that position. We are a part of a 41-season organization. This is our 41st season, and we have a chapter in Connecticut that is celebrating its 8th year. So we have made such progress than all those years before when those wonderful, intelligent, charismatic, powerful women got together and they acknowledged that there was an imbalance that happened in our industry that had to be checked. Now, it's not checked completely yet, but we've been working on it. And I want to tell you a couple of things that happen here in the League. We have committees, and I have to be very careful because if I leave anybody out, boy, am I going to get it. So I'm just going to say a couple of them and apologize in advance for those that I don't say about tonight. But we have membership committee, we have the legacy committee, we have the program committee, we have the promotion and outreach and chair, just when someone needs a little help. This is an organization that is a sisterhood for solidarity. Those are the things that I want you to remember. To the support, sisterhood, and solidarity. We have programs that are like the coffee hour where we talk about last night. I did a wonderful one where we had Broadway producers and off-Broadway producers discussing some of the conflicts that happened there. We have a director's program and roundtable. We have producers roundtables. We have all of these things that welcome you. And why am I telling you that? Because those of you who are not members, I am recruiting you tonight. I am saying come and be with us, and come and see how wonderful it is to be in an organization that can produce this. And with that, I will say to you, remember the 3 S's: support, solidarity, and sisterhood. And I thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you so much. Martha Coigney invited me to become a member of the League so that I could take part in the international committee activities. But you may well be asking, who's Rosamond Gilder? Who's Martha Coigney? Well, I have somebody here who I think can illuminate a little bit. One of my favorite artistic collaborators and one of the great directors of our contemporary American theater, Anne Bogart.
Hi. In the constant crush of time, it is only too easy to get caught up in the battle to survive and produce. We forget to look up and we forget to look out. But if we do look up and out, we will see that there are certain lighthouses in the distance. These lighthouses can help us to navigate the rocky shoals and rough seas in our path. A lighthouse is something or someone outside of oneself, an example, a point of orientation, a beacon of hope or a guiding light, a focal point symbolizing strength, support, and even a safe harbor. In the proximity of these lighthouses, we remember that we are not separate. Today, I want to share my admiration for 2 powerful lighthouses, Rosamond Gilder and Martha Coigney. Rosamond Gilder was the founder and former president of the International Theater Institute, ITI, a worldwide organization with 65 national centers that came into being in Paris in 1947, just after the Second World War and at the beginning of the Cold War, when the Iron Curtain divided East and West. Other co-founders of ITI included J.B. Priestley, Tyrone Guthrie, Jean-Louis Barrault, and Lillian Hellman. Their objective was to provide a means for theater people to exchange information free of government pressures. They envisaged an organization that would create platforms for international exchange and engagement using the performing arts for mutual understanding and peace. Gilder was born in Marion, Massachusetts in 1891 and was raised in New York City in artistic surroundings where she met figures such as Mark Twain and Eleanor Duse. During the course of her life, in addition to her work with ITI, where she promoted the idea of sending American theater and dance companies to tour abroad, she wrote and published a great number of articles and books on the performing arts. Gilder saw theater as one of the most effective vehicles for the dissemination of principles of international understanding, international cooperation, and world peace. Also, and significantly, more than any other Caucasian critic of her generation, Gilder created opportunities for people of color. While many critics came to find fault, Gilder helped African American actors, playwrights, directors, scenic designers, and dancers, not only in her celebration and recognition of them, but in her fairness and objectivity in evaluating their work. At a time when her countrymen and co-workers were turning inward upon themselves, she had the vision, the courage, and the wisdom to step beyond the sometimes narrow confines of nationalism and encourage an international fellowship of theater artists, including practitioners and theorists, critics and enthusiasts, amateurs and professionals. Her dedication to the development of an American national theater, linked with her commitment to the international theater communication, was exemplified by her involvement and devotion to ITI. Gilder died at her home in 1986 at the age of 95. Martha Wadsworth Coigney, like her mentor, Rosamond Gilder, who brought her to ITI, was also a pioneering thought leader and an advocate for internationalism. And she was a great personal friend of mine and a significant advocate of my own work in the theater. Martha knew everybody. She was a gifted talent scout, an inveterate traveler, an incurable matchmaker. She was an extrovert who loved to drink martinis. Right. She was a trickster with an irrepressible laugh who loved fun and connectedness. She believed in people, not rules or norms. I'm getting emotional. Yeah. I miss her.
Yes, yes.
And insisted that people always come first. Inspired by President John F. Kennedy, who articulated that to be influential, a great nation must have a great culture to contribute to the world, Martha Coigney believed in individual artists and always worked hard to find funding and structural support for them. She always showed great respect for what a person had to say. Born Martha Wadsworth on June 21st, 1933 in New York City, she came of age in the shadow of the atomic bomb, which had a significant effect on her thinking. She graduated from Vassar College in 1954 and then worked as Lee Strasberg's assistant at the Actors Studio from 1956 until 1959. She liked to tell the story about how at the Actors Studio she washed dishes with the helpful Marilyn Monroe and occasionally exchanged small talk with Paul Newman. Later, she was an administrator for the famous theater producer Roger L. Stevens. She lived in Paris for a while and married Rudolph Coigney, a French war hero and the former head of the World Health Organization. Martha Coigney single-handedly ran the International Theater Institute US for 35 years. She became president of ITI Worldwide in 1987, taking over from the renowned Nigerian playwright Wole Soyinka until 2011. Coigney embodied the principle of internationalism as a counterforce to nationalism and fascism. She believed in people-to-people democracy. She believed in artistic freedom of expression. She believed in revitalizing and revisualizing the American theater. Among her many awards, Coigney made Officier des Arts et Lettres in 1980 and Officier des Ordres National de Mérite in 1999 by the French government. And in 1998, she received a Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement. And she was great friends with Edward Albee. I had to put that in because they were always together. Odd couple. In partnership with Rosamond Gilder and Ellen Stewart of La Mama, Coigney led many landmark initiatives, including ITI's mission of peace through mutual understanding between artists across political and religious divides in war zones. They aim to bring all voices to the table, including former colonial peoples, developing nations, and indigenous culture. What they set in motion is playing out today. Gilder and Coigney led the movement to establish international theater festivals in Europe and in the USA and globally. In a recent publication of a book written by her friends entitled Theater Diplomacy During the Cold War, the story of Martha Wadsworth Coigney, many of Coigney's attributes were celebrated. Here are just a few. Quote, avoid ideology, as it never is true to the complexity of the individual of any group, or any group. Quote, theater is a necessity, not a luxury or an entertainment. It is the foundation for any culture because it helps people understand themselves and their world. And finally, quote, don't be afraid to act the fool. This makes room for others to attempt the impossible, which is essential to theater and to life. Embrace humility and humiliation. Laughter eliminates all barriers, end quote. Martha died in New York City in 2016. She was a key member of the board of City Company, my company, right up to the end. She insisted on coming to board meetings, even though her physical and mental health were declining rapidly. She listened closely and then always had a pithy word of support and wisdom, right up to the end. I believe that if the theater were a verb, it would be to remember, to put the pieces back together. We're in the unique position to give voice to those who did not finish all that they had to say. I'm touched that the occasion of the Gilder Coigney International Theater Award offers the opportunity to extend and remember the voices of those two remarkable women upon whose shoulders we now stand. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mitt i en stormig natt, under vilken jag slungats från upphetsning till utmattning. Oj. Oj, det är inte alls!
Vettigt, Steven Spielberg. Hälsad profet, vårt stora verk begynner här. Se, jag har kommit.
Human emotion in its most pure and colorful form is the most attractive substance for me. It is the stories of each one of us that interweave and create our universe. That is why, in my opinion, in order to be able to make a positive social change in our communities, it is crucial to listen and understand each other's stories and grasp their essence.
There will be a postcard for everyone.
have engaged in trying to tackle memory using the arts, but also trying to use art as a tool for social transformation.
In 100 days, 1 million people dead.
It is important for me and for you to stand together and be human together.
Aquí encontraría lo mismo que cualquier otro viajero. Una indiferencia cordial. ¡Tienes que ayudarme! Tú, que me has traído al mundo en este país de nubes y no en una tierra de sol. Preferiría que te olvidaras de mí.
Buenas tardes, señor juez. Voy a matarle.
No me apuntes.
Eso le pasa por entrar por la puerta de atrás. Joder.
Tiene algo de sacrílego reírse esta noche.
มึงใช่ไหมที่ไปฟ้องคุณเรื่องกูอ่ะจะบ้าเหรออีนี่กูจะไปยุ่งเรื่องของมึงทำไมก็มึงคนเดียวอ่ะตื่นไปเห็นกูกับเจี๊ยบตลอดอ่ะโอ้ยอีหลินอีโง่มึงคิดจริงๆเหรอว่าทุกคนในห้องเขาไม่เห็นน่ะเขาเห็นจนขี้เกียจจะเห็นแล้วแต่เขาไม่พูดตอนนี้เขาเป็นแม่คนแล้วนะเขาอยากให้ฉันออกไปกอดเขากับหลาน
Hello. My name is Baz. I'm sitting on the other side of the wall. Please, place your left arm in the hole, in the wall in front of you.
It's a very powerful thing to be in a room with artists who are willing to go very deeply on a journey towards the understanding of everything that they have to bring, because it's an engagement with the work and the material that requires a certain vulnerability and what I consider the deepest form of courage.
Theatre's a kind of social acupuncture. It's most painful where that needle needs to go in, but that's where it's needed. It becomes a process of searching for where that tension resides and touching that nerve.
Tell me, Miss Julie, what if you're carrying my child? Then this land will return to the rightful owners.
Jave së shpirtin dikuj që mund ta plagos apo ta shëroj atë. Është guximi më i rrezikshëm, por njëkohësisht më i bukur që ne mund të marrim.
أخذني الرجل ذو العين اللطيفة، غطس وجهي بالمكياج، نزع عني ملابسي التي حفظت شرفي، دون تقاسم الخبز، دون تقاسم التراب، فعلها بي، فعلها بي، فعلها بي.
Vos acá tenés que acumular. Sí, porque si no se hace una especie de sinfín que no acumula, ¿entendés? El tipo acá está desesperado porque no entiende si ella le está mintiendo.
Dale, Antonio, seguí que me interesa. Uno. Si me paro, cobras.
No, en serio, mira.
Την αγωνία της, που βαστούσε παιδιά, τη γριά μάνα της, το θείο, τον είχαμε περάσει ως εκεί η γιαγιά, και της λέει, πήγαινε κατέβα γρήγορα τις σκάλες, φεύγω μη σε δω.
We don't have the privilege of time. Things are urgent. They're necessary. And culture is the necessary way to keep us together, to fight fear, fight hatred, which is tearing us apart. And it doesn't make sense because only together we'll find a solution.
For us, puppet theater is a bridge to communicate between people.
Living in a country where there is a crisis situation almost all the time and where a lot of people live in very marginalized communities and a lot of poverty, we found that working in theater in a social context gives our work a lot of meaning and gives us as artists a real engagement in everyday life. And through theater, we aim to empower individuals, allow them to express themselves, also to develop self-confidence, self-esteem, to develop skills of communication, and to open a door to imagination.
Indígena, una mujer de escasos recursos que viene creciendo por ser mujer y por ser indígena. Fui discriminada desde muy pequeña. Bueno, entonces yo he encontrado por medio del teatro cómo poder yo darle esa fortaleza a las mujeres. Y mi satisfacción más grande es poder denunciar por medio del teatro sin tomar las armas, sin tomar justicia por mi propia mano, que con el teatro he encontrado el camino de sanación, de comunicación y también para fortalecer a las mujeres. El árbol de pera fue testigo de cómo mi hermano me empezó a matar pajaritos por su resortero. El árbol de pera fue testigo de cómo mi hermano abusaba de mí. Cuando tuve uso de razón, me di cuenta que no era juego. Me violaban. Sentía que en mi casa ya nadie me quería. La única dulce que encontraba era mi madre. Mamá, si por mi culpa te estás muriendo, perdóname. Allí fue cuando le dije a mi madre la verdad, que yo había sido secuestrada y violada por un hombre que mi padre conocía. Cuando escucharon los presentes, dirigieron la mirada hacia mí. Al parecer nadie me creyó. Pero lo importante es que mi madre sí me creyó, porque me apretó las manos, me abrió los ojos y que me perdonaba.
We need to give a big shout out to Erwin Falcone, who has created these beautiful video montages. And my colleague, Melody Brooks, has been anchoring the Gilder Coigney program just about from the beginning. She was instrumental from the last awards, from the 2020 awards, in launching Theater from the Streets. It's a series of short works and discussions among theater women involved with the 2020 program. New Perspectives Theater is partnering with US and international companies to provide a platform for theater artists to provide the uncensored voice of the people, no matter where they live. Short works developed through this initiative may be seen currently on New Perspectives' YouTube channel, and they're very, very moving. Melody, don't you want to come up and tell us a little bit about our 2023 finalists and any of the other alum and presenters who might be in the room?
I'd love to, Linda. We do have some people in the audience that I'd just like to acknowledge. One of our current nominees, Sonia Armaganian, and if I have mispronounced that, shame on me. She's a nominee. Stand up, please. Take a bow. And we have one of our nominees from the 2020 awards who's been embraced into New Perspectives, Theater from the Streets program, and we're never letting her go. Lupe Garenbeck is, please stand, wave so they can see you. And we are extremely delighted because we couldn't have her here when she actually won the 2020 award, that she's here with us now. It's kind of getting a little tingly. Hanan Haj Ali. And let's give her a really big round of applause because we had to do it virtually when she won the award. It's never easy picking a winner because all of these women, as you've just seen, are doing extraordinary work. And there are criteria for how we go about choosing people and who becomes a finalist and who ultimately gets the award. Well, we have 3 finalists this year. And in the booklet that you got when you came in, and I hope you all got one, unless you came in a side door, there are bios of everybody, but these women are particularly outstanding. The first finalist is, Lydia Korniordu, who is from Greece. And like our winner this year, she's also has been a politician. She served as the Minister of Culture and Sports of the Hellenic Republic, which is Greece, in other words, from 2016 to 2018. She's also known around the world for doing classical ancient Greek text and also working with young people in the ancient Greek language. So that's really cool. Yeah, I heard a wow over here. Next is Maria Tri Sulistiani from Indonesia. She's a producer, creator, artist, and a visionary, and she created her first theater by making a library in her own home so that kids could come and read books. And from there, she began to make puppets. She now has the Paper Moon Puppet Theater, and she most recently created an entire festival, the first for young audiences in Indonesia. That's Maria. She goes by Ria. And last but not least, Laila Toubel is a theater woman, activist, and performer from Tunisia. Hanan actually nominated Laila and calls her a living myth in Tunisian theater. And she too, as with so many, I think maybe all of them, the nominees at whatever level are not just creating performances and making theater. They are working in their communities. They are educating young people. They are opening spaces, especially in some of the countries such as Tunisia or Lebanon. The danger is there, and theater becomes a really potent place for young people to just survive. So we want to give a round of applause to our 3 finalists. And now I'm really delighted to be able to introduce you to Maya Zabib, who is getting special recognition this year. Come on up to the stage. Do we have a picture?
Come on, Maya.
Oh, you can come and stand with me, Maya.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to the work of Maya Zabib in 2013 when I first began working with the GCITA program. I had learned of this amazing artist through the Rolex Mentor and Protege Arts Initiative, and I was delighted to nominate her for the 2014 award. What struck me back then, among Maya's already impressive achievements, which is now, we were figuring this out 10 years ago, was a project in which she was sharing her work in people's living rooms. This was in villages that were still traumatized by the Civil War, but people from both sides were constrained from speaking about it. It had really become taboo. So the wounds festered. And even as the villagers lived together as neighbors, they just couldn't confront it. So the piece that Maya brought had nothing to do with the Civil War. It was created from women sharing what their homes meant to them. But the simple fact of the community coming together for theater and in their living rooms, opened a space for them to begin talking about what had happened, and therefore they could begin healing from it. Yes, I said when I read that, it's what it's all about. Why can't we do that here? Maya was a finalist that year, and it was a tough call not to give her the award, but Patricia Ariza of Colombia had a 50-year career under her belt, and we knew that Maya's accomplishments would only continue to grow. She was nominated again in 2020 and was again a finalist. That was a difficult year. In addition to the COVID shutdown, Beirut had also suffered a devastating explosion that caused enormous death and destruction, including to Maya's Zukak theater space. But Zukak dug itself out of the mess and continued on. And Maya has continued to create powerful performances around the world and to train new artists and engage young people wherever she goes. The award went to Hanan Haj Ali in 2020, also of Lebanon. And just to give you one example of how gracious Maya is, when we told her who would get the award, she said, "When Hanan wins, we all win." Yeah, that's who she is. So when Maya was nominated again for the third time for this year's award, we decided to just skip right to giving her some special recognition. Because she's going to be a finalist every year until she's old enough to get the award. So we're just saying, let's cut through all the red tape. Her work is of incalculable value to the global community. And I want to say for all of you, read the bio, but look them up. A lot of their work is online, all of our nominees. So we're certain there's a lot more to come throughout the coming years, but why wait? So on behalf of the GCIT program, it is with great pleasure that we are able to present this plaque to Maya Zabib. And it's an equal pleasure for you all that you're going to get to hear from her now.
Thank you, Melody. Hello, everybody. Hello, fellow artists and supporters of the arts. I'm very humbled to stand here before you today as the recipient of this beautiful, special recognition from the Gilder Coigney International Theatre Award, especially after hearing about those beautiful women from someone who knew them, Anne Bogart. I would like to express my gratitude to the League of Professional Theatre Women, and especially Linda and Joan and Melody. Your dedication to celebrating and promoting the work of women theatre makers has had a profound impact on the global theatre community, creating a strong network of wondrous women who have been really instrumental to many of us. And I think these kinds of networks are what really can save us today in a world that is growing increasingly more difficult and more divisive. We are living in an era marked by unprecedented complexities where sustainability has become a moral imperative. I mean, traveling here makes me feel bad, even though I love this city, but coming here several times a year, I question my morals. But I'm so happy to be here at the same time, so I'm in this conflict every day as a touring and traveling artist. Theater requires resources, and we find ourselves in a time of scarcity, not only in terms of financial means, which has always been the case for theater, but also in terms of natural resources. We are confronted today with this stark reality of climate change and environmental degradation. And this is a challenge that requires us to rethink how we create, produce, and share our art. But sustainability in the theater is not just about environmental concerns, but it also extends to the sustainability of our art in the face of technological development and advancement. We are at a juncture in history where artificial intelligence, as you know, is rapidly evolving and has the potential to actually replace various aspects of human knowledge and creativity. And so how can we keep sustaining this irreplaceable value of the human experience in theater, which hopefully will still always transcend algorithms and data? As artists, we have this responsibility to continue to be unafraid to confront the darkness of our present and that of our future. I would like to accept this recognition on behalf of our entire team at Zukak Theater. This is not just a recognition of my work, but a testament to the power of theater to transcend boundaries and create challenging moments, especially in difficult political climates. At Zukak, we have experienced firsthand, as many of you and many of the women who have been, theater women who have been presented here, we have experienced the transformative force of theater in empowering individuals and strengthening dynamic, inclusive communities. And these are not just words, these are moments that make me wake up in the morning happy. Our region, as you know, has faced and is still facing, as we speak, turmoil, conflict, and instability. So in such a context, theater becomes not just an artistic pursuit, but a lifeline, a means of survival. In our work, we have sought to foster a sense of collectivity and collaboration, all the while celebrating individual expression. And through our encounters with individuals, we have tried to challenge preconceived notions of identity and truth, and to ignite conversations that might otherwise remain unspoken. I can only hope, really, to be able to continue doing this work alongside my community of local and international artists, championing the next generation of theater makers and inspiring emerging talents, especially young women. In closing, I would like to acknowledge the incredible women in theater, many of whom are present today, who have come before us. Their resilience and unwavering commitment to the craft have paved the way for all of us gathered here. I would like to dedicate this special recognition to an amazing theater director and teacher, the late Siham Nasser, whose work has inspired a whole generation of theater women and theater directors especially. Cheers to you, Siham. May the memory of your work continue to resonate in the theater worlds for decades to come. Thank you again for this incredible honor, and may our collective efforts in theater continue to light the way towards a more sustainable, equitable, and compassionate world. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you. Would you like to take it? Well, this is our 5th GC Award, and we have a powerful network of individuals who have been nominated over these years. And my dream, you know, Jim, my colleague Jim's up there, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a festival of some of this work that we've seen? All right, well, we just need a few more coins. Yeah, we'll pass the hat. Every nominee is nominated by a colleague who has interest in the international theater scene. Petrona was nominated by our next speaker, an international theater woman extraordinaire, Olga Garay English. Now, Olga invited me to Chile's Fundación Teatro Emil, and it's a significant theater festival, amazing experience. I attended a couple of times, and she is the senior advisor for international affairs for this festival. But most recently, and I'm really, really thrilled to know about this, and I think we all should be, Olga is one of 2 directors of the National Latinx Theater Initiative, providing major multi-year funding to 52 Latino theaters throughout the United States and Puerto Rico. Olga, come on. Please tell us how you met Petrona.
Good evening, everybody. Buenas noches, todos. So I want to say that first I want to offer congratulations to the League for having had its 40th anniversary last year. Congratulations. And hopefully there's 40 more years to come. Well, I first saw Petrona's work during a convening of la Red de Productores Culturales de Latinoamérica y el Caribe, the network of cultural producers of Latin America and the Caribbean. This powerful network had annual convenings that afforded people the opportunity to go to each other's country to see work. And in one of those convenings, which took place in Mexico, one of the companies that we saw was Fortaleza de la Mujer Maya. So that was my original introduction to Petra and her extraordinary work and her extraordinary commitment to her community and especially women. So after that, very much more recently, in 2022, the National Performance Network, which is based in in New Orleans, asked me to put together a panel for their annual conference, which was held virtually, about indigeneity. And so, Jimena Lara, who's here with us today with Petrona, moderated that panel. And we asked Petrona to be part of that panel, which she did. And she was a key member of the session, bringing her unwavering insight, at the same time, her just knowledge and commitment to community. As one of the three organizers, we decided that the question that we were going to pose to the panel was why the arts sector often overlooks indigenous people when we seek to center social justice in international cultural exchange. Well, from that experience, when Linda contacted me to nominate someone for tonight's award, it was like easy breezy, Petrona, of course. So I was extremely proud when I heard that she had won this prestigious League of Professional Theater Women's Gilder Coigney Award. And as you saw from the video, it was a lot of, really just vital, engaged, wonderful women around the world. So the fact that Petrona won this very special award is really a testament to the impact that she's had in the field and will continue to have for many more years. I'm thrilled that the League has chosen Petrona, and I would like to present her to you, the audience, right now. So thank you.
Please welcome your 2023 Gilder Coigney International Theater Award winner, Petrona de la Cruz. She will be translated this evening by Jimena Lara.
Kolaval tili oshuke. Shmui bahno shtikone. Diech otashkan shkalbe kolaval ti anseti klichotolike. Buenas noches. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Mi corazón está muy alegre esta noche. Y por eso quiero agradecer a esas grandes mujeres que han reconocido mi trabajo por tanto tiempo.
Good night, and thank you in Tzotzil and in Spanish. My heart is very happy tonight, and therefore I would like to thank and recognize these women who have seen and recognized my work of so many years.
Quiero agradecer la Liga de Mujeres Profesionales del Teatro, particularmente a sus directoras y al equipo organizador y comité de selección del premio, a Linda, a John, a Melody, Jessica y todo el maravilloso equipo y a todos quienes hacen esto posible.
I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the League of Professional Theatre Women, especially the Gilder Coigney International Theatre Award Program Directors and team, as well as their award selection committee, Linda, Joan, Melody, Jessica, and all the wonderful team, partners, and sponsors that make this possible.
Y también, en nombre de este premio, quiero agradecer a todas las personas que han estado en mi camino, a todo mi público que me ha aplaudido y me ha fortalecido cuando estoy en el escenario. Y una de ellas, que mi corazón florece en este momento, es que está conmigo en este momento, Diana Taylor. Un aplauso para ella, por favor.
I would like to receive this award in the name also and thank all of the people that have been with me throughout the path of my life, all the audience that has recognized my work, and a lot of people, very important people that have been with me, especially someone who has been very close to me and who's here with us tonight, Diana Taylor.
Y los que no están aquí presentes, pues es muy grato también agradecerle a mi primer maestro de teatro, que aquí vivió en esa tierra de Nueva York, a Rafli, y que gloria esté. Donde quiera que esté, gracias maestro. A Miriam Loughlin, a Roberto Loughlin, a Patricia Hernández, a Doris Di Farnesio, a Raúl Pérez y a mis maestros de dramaturgia, también porque es parte de esto que me han encaminado para poder escribir mis guiones teatrales. También, que en gloria esté, al maestro que se me fue el nombre, perdón, pero y al maestro Luis de Tavira, un gran maestro que me dirigió también en la Escuela de Teatro en el Estado de México. Muchas gracias, maestro. Y a todos los que han estado en mi camino, muchas gracias. Y disculpen si no me acordé del nombre y no me acuerdo de todos, pero muchas gracias a todos.
I would also like to thank all the teachers that have been in my path, Ralph Lee, whatever he might be, and I hope he is in the glory now. Thank you so much. Also Miriam and Robert Loughney, Patricia Hernández, Doris Di Farnesio, Luis de Tavira, and all the people that have been in my path, all my teachers. I am sorry that I'm not remembering every name, but I want to thank you all.
El impacto del teatro y la cultura en la sociedad.
The force of theater and culture on society.
Buenas noches a todos, a todas, los presentes, amigas y amigos, colegas, de uno de los oficios más nobles que existen, el teatro. Es un honor estar aquí para compartir con ustedes un poco de mi vida y de mi perspectiva de cómo el arte, la cultura y más específicamente el teatro impactan en la sociedad, dando no solo forma a nuestras vidas, sino también convirtiéndose en un faro de esperanza en tiempos de oscuridad.
Good evening to all of you, friends and colleagues, in one of the noblest professions, theater. It is an honor to be here to share with you a bit of my life and my perspective on how art, culture, and more specifically theater, have an impact on society, not only shaping our own lives, but also becoming a beacon of hope in times of darkness.
¿Qué es para mí el teatro? Permítame compartir con ustedes una visión que ha sido el pilar de mi existencia. El teatro no es simplemente la obra que contemplamos o escuchamos en la manifestación misma del alma humana, un lenguaje universal que trasciende todas las barreras. Es nuestra esencia, nuestro escenario, la narrativa colectiva que nos une y nos guía.
What is theater for me? Let me share with you a vision that has been the mainstay of my existence. Theater is not simply the play we contemplate or listen to. Rather, theater is the very manifestation of the human soul, a universal language that transcends all barriers. It is our essence, our stage, the collective narrative that unites and guides us.
El teatro es la voz de las emociones sin palabras, la sinfonía de los sentimientos y la danza de las ideas. Es el lienzo el que pintamos las historias de nuestras vidas y las tradiciones que nos unen como comunidad. En cada puesta en escena, en cada palabra, encontramos la esencia de lo que somos y lo que aspiramos a ser.
Theater is the voice for wordless emotions, a symphony of feelings and a dance of ideas. Theater is a canvas in which we paint the stories of our lives and the traditions that unite us as a community. In each staging, in each word, we find the essence of who we are and what we aim to be.
Nuestra historia se entrelaza con hilos de creatividad y expresión, desde las pinturas rupestres hasta los murales urbanos, desde las epopeyas orales de nuestros antepasados y la mitología sobre la que se construye nuestra civilización, hasta las películas que nos entretienen y emocionan. Las diferentes representaciones histriónicas han estado presentes en nuestra cultura e historia. Han sido los guardianes de la memoria, los heraldos de los cambios y los testigos de los logros de la humanidad.
Our history is interwoven with threads of creativity and expression, from cave paintings to urban murals, from the oral epics of our ancestors and the mythology upon which our civilization was built, to the films that entertain and thrill us today. Histrionic performances have been present throughout our culture and history as guardians of memory, harbingers of change, and witnesses of humanity's achievements.
El teatro no solo se trata de lo que vemos en las galerías o escuchamos en los teatros. Es el medio por el cual las almas hablan, las emociones se derraman y las verdades se revelan. Es la creación donde encontramos la libertad de expresión, donde nuestros pensamientos toman forma y nuestras ideas se materializan.
Theater is not only about what we see in galleries or hear in theaters. Theater is a medium through which souls speak, emotions pour out, and truths are revealed. It is in creation that we find freedom of expression, our thoughts take shape, and our ideas materialize.
En los momentos de silencio y soledad, el teatro nos permite hablar con el corazón. Es un lenguaje universal que trasciende las barreras del tiempo y el espacio. Cuando nos presentamos en el escenario, liberamos nuestra alma y conectamos con los demás a un nivel que va más allá de las palabras.
In moments of silence and solitude, theater allows us to speak from the heart. It is a universal language that transcends the barriers of time and space. When we perform on a stage, we release our soul and connect with others at a level that goes beyond words.
La cultura y el teatro moldean nuestra identidad, recordándonos de dónde venimos y hacia dónde vamos. Mi propia historia, arraigada en Sinacantán, Chiapas, México, lleva la marca indeleble de mi cultura indígena, nutrida por las tradiciones ancestrales de mi comunidad y las enseñanzas de mi familia. A pesar de las adversidades de mi pueblo, mi identidad se fortalece a través de su cultura y su historia.
Culture and theater shape our identity, reminding us of where we come from and where we're going. My own story, rooted in Sinacantán, Chiapas, in Mexico, bears the indelible mark of my indigenous culture, nurtured by the ancestral traditions of my community and the teachings of my family. Despite the adversities experienced by my people, my identity is strengthened through its culture and history.
El haber crecido en esa tierra hermosa, de muchos contrastes enfrentando las sombras de una comunidad machista y a veces misógina, me hizo forjarme como una mujer de carácter. En medio de la dureza, aprendí el valor del trabajo y la tenacidad de mi abuela, cuya influencia me marcó de por vida. También conocí la dulzura y alegría de mi madre, cuyo tiempo conmigo fue efímero, pero inolvidable, dejando una cicatriz que a veces parece una herida abierta, porque aún duele, pero fortalece y me guía.
Growing up in such a beautiful land of many contrasts, having to face the shadows of a patriarchal and sometimes even misogynistic community, forged me as a woman of character. Amid hardship, I learned the value of work and tenacity from my grandmother, whose influence marked me for life. I also knew the sweetness and joy of my mother, whose time with me was ephemeral but unforgettable, leaving a scar that sometimes seems like an open wound, because although it still hurts, it also strengthens and guides me.
Esa dolorosa partida me dejó cargando culpas injustas. También forma parte de mi crecimiento personal, el cual me llevaría, sin saberlo, por el camino del teatro. Desde muy joven afronté la dureza del mundo de manera cruda, llevando en mi corazón y mi vientre la carga del abuso. Sin embargo, de esa oscuridad surgió un amor incondicional por mi hijo, una luz que me guió hacia el camino de la sanación y la redención, que significó también el crecimiento del mundo de la cultura y el teatro.
That painful departure, which left an unjust load of guilt on my shoulders, is also a part of my own personal growth, which would lead me unknowingly down the path of theater. From a very young age, I faced the harshness of the world, and I carried the burden of abuse in my heart and in my womb. However, out of that darkness, an unconditional love for my son was born, a light that guided me towards the path of healing and redemption, and which also meant discovering the world of culture and theater.
En nuestro constante viaje hacia la plenitud interior, la cultura emerge para mostrarnos quiénes somos y nuestro lugar en el mundo. La cultura no es solo un conjunto de tradiciones y costumbres, es un espejo en el que podemos vernos reflejados y el eslabón que nos conecta con generaciones pasadas y futuras.
In our constant journey towards inner fulfillment, culture emerges to show us who we are and our place in the world. Culture is not just a set of traditions and customs. It is a mirror in which we can see ourselves reflected and a link that connects us with past and future generations.
Explorar nuestra propia cultura es como sumergirse en las profundidades del ser. A medida que descubrimos las historias de nuestros ancestros, las melodías de nuestras tierras, las expresiones únicas que han sido transmitidas de generación en generación, abrimos una puerta a un entendimiento más profundo de nosotros mismos. Cada baile, cada canción y cada tejido nos cuentan la historia de nuestras raíces, nos conectan con nuestra comunidad y nos ayudan a comprender nuestra identidad en un mundo de constante cambio.
Exploring our own culture is like diving in the depths of self. As we discover the stories of our ancestors, the melodies of our lands, and the unique expressions that have been passed down from generation to generation, we open a door to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Each dance, each song, and each weaving tells us the story of our roots, connect us to our community, and help us understand our identity in an ever-changing world.
El teatro y la cultura son también la brújula de la transformación social, desde los murales que dieron voz a los oprimidos, hasta los versos de los discursos que desafiaron con la palabra a la injusticia, los artistas que han sido los portavoces de la esperanza y los instigadores de la revolución pacífica. Pues, aunque los laureles de la transformación social han sido históricamente colocados en la frente de grandes movimientos políticos y líderes sociales, los artistas han sido los arquitectos silenciosos de la revolución cultural.
Theater and culture are also the compass of social transformation. From the murals that gave voice to the oppressed, to the verses of speeches that challenged injustice with words, artists have been the spokespersons of hope and the instigators of peaceful revolution. For although the laurels of social transformation have historically been placed on the foreheads of great political movements and social leaders, artists have been silent architects of cultural revolution.
A lo largo de los siglos, el teatro y la cultura han desafiado las normas y han agitado las aguas tranquilas de la conformidad. Los escenarios, las luces, los diálogos y los gestos han sido los megáfonos de los marginados, de aquellos cuyas voces han sido sistemáticamente sofocadas por el poder y la opresión.
Over the centuries, theater and culture have challenged norms and stirred the still waters of conformity. Stages, lights, dialogues, and gestures have been the megaphones of the marginalized, of those whose voices have been systematically stifled by power and oppression.
Recuerdo cómo, en mi propio camino, la dramaturgia no solo proporcionó una plataforma para enfrentar mis propios demonios, sino que también se convirtió en mi aliada para desafiar las limitaciones de una comunidad que a menudo subestimaba a las mujeres indígenas. A través del teatro pude expresar mis luchas, mis triunfos, compartiendo mi historia de empoderamiento con otros que quizás habían enfrentado circunstancias similares.
I remember how, in my own journey, playwriting not only provided me with a platform to confront my inner demons, but it also became my ally in challenging the limitations of a community that often underestimated Indigenous women. Through theater, I was able to express my struggles and my triumphs, and to share my story of empowerment with others who may have faced similar circumstances.
Pero no somos los únicos beneficiarios de esta transformación. A través de las representaciones artísticas, se crean puentes de empatía que conectan a las personas a nivel humano, más allá de las fronteras culturales o lingüísticas. Las historias que contamos a través de una puesta en escena pueden desafiar las percepciones preconcebidas y provocar una consideración de las creencias, incluso las más arraigadas.
But we're not the only beneficiaries of this transformation. Through art, bridges of empathy are built that connect people on a human level, beyond cultural and linguistic boundaries. The stories we tell through a staging can challenge preconceived perceptions and provoke a reconsideration of even the most deeply held beliefs.
Además, en la actuación encontramos una forma de enfrentar la oscuridad y abrazar la luz. El teatro puede ser un faro en tiempos de adversidad, un recordatorio de la belleza y la esperanza que siempre residen en lo más profundo de nosotros. El teatro y la cultura no solo tienen la capacidad de iluminar las sombras del pasado, sino también permiten perdonar y sanar. Y cuando una persona sana, esa sanación irradia a su entorno, creando una cadena de transformación que puede cambiar vidas y comunidades enteras.
Moreover, through acting, we find a way to confront darkness and embrace light. Theater can be a beacon in times of adversity, a reminder of the beauty and hope that always reside deep within us. Theater and culture are not only able to illuminate the shadows of the past, they also allow for forgiveness and healing to occur. And when a person heals, that healing radiates out to those around them, creating a chain of transformation that can change lives and even entire communities.
En mi caso, el teatro se convirtió en una fuerza restauradora, permitiéndome reconciliarme con mi historia, abrazar mis raíces y, finalmente, empoderarme para aprender acciones de transformación, no solo mi vida, sino también la vida de otras mujeres, logrando tejer una red de apoyo y acompañamiento. Las mujeres que una vez se sintieron silenciadas y marginadas, encontraron sus voces y su fuerza en la expresión creativa, demostrando cómo el teatro es un catalizador poderoso para el cambio social.
In my case, theater became a restorative force that allowed me to reconcile with my own history, to embrace my own roots, and ultimately it empowered me to take actions that transformed not only my own life, but also the lives of other women, creating a network of support and accompaniment. Women who once felt silenced and marginalized found their voices and strength through creative expression, demonstrating theater's power as a catalyst for social change.
El teatro no solo nos enseña a apreciar la belleza, sino también a cuestionar, a reflexionar y a imaginar. A través del teatro, no solo transmitimos conocimientos, sino también valores y perspectivas, creamos mentes críticas, forjamos líderes y, al mismo tiempo, enriquecemos nuestros espíritus.
Theater not only teaches us to appreciate beauty, but also to question, to reflect, and to imagine. Through theater, we not only transmit knowledge, but also values and perspectives. We create critical minds, forge leaders, and at the same time, enrich our spirits.
El teatro y la cultura son más estímulos para los sentidos. Son también motores económicos y destinos turísticos que impulsan las economías locales, regionales y globales. Los montajes teatrales que elaboramos con esmero y talento no solo animan el escenario, sino también nuestros corazones. Desde el teatro comunitario hasta los festivales culturales, el teatro impulsa industrias y atrae a viajeros, representando una derrama económica que nos beneficia a todos.
Theater and culture are more than just stimuli for the senses. They are also economic engines and tourist destinations that drive local, regional, and global economies. The theatrical productions we create with care and talent not only enliven the stage, but also our hearts. From community theater to cultural festivals, theater drives industries and attracts travelers, representing an economic spillover that benefits us all.
Más aún en la era digital en la que nos encontramos inmersos, donde el teatro transciende fronteras físicas, las redes sociales y la tecnología han permitido conectar a artistas y amantes del teatro en todo el mundo, representando un factor de democratización de la cultura.
Even more so in this digital age which we find ourselves in, where theater transcends physical borders, social networks and technology have made it possible to connect artists and theater lovers around the world, representing a factor in the democratization of culture.
Las salas teatrales y los escenarios virtuales han levantado sus telones virtuales, permitiéndonos sumergirnos en las representaciones escénicas de todo el mundo, sin importar nuestra ubicación geográfica. Una obra que antes estaba a miles de kilómetros de distancia, ahora está al alcance de un clic.
Theaters and virtual stages have raised their virtual curtains, allowing us to immerse ourselves in theatrical performances around the world, regardless of our geographic location. A play that was once thousands of miles away is now just a click away.
Pero la democratización digital va más allá. No solo se trata de observar, sino también de crear. Las plataformas digitales brindan a artistas emergentes un escenario global para transformar su talento, desde el teatro musical hasta la danza y el performance. Cada expresión encuentra su espacio en la vasta red digital, permitiendo que las voces previamente apartadas encuentren un eco en todo el mundo.
But digital democratization goes beyond that. It's not just about watching, it's also about creating. Digital platforms give emerging artists a global stage to showcase their talent. From musical theater to dance and performance art, each expression finds its space in the vast digital network, allowing previously secluded voices to find an echo around the world.
Es por eso que en la actualidad debe considerarse a la cultura como un derecho humano, una llave maestra que desbloquea las puertas de la identidad, la expresión y la comprensión mutua. En esta era de interconexión global, de la democratización digital, ha acelerado el acceso a la cultura de maneras imaginables. Cada obra de teatro, cada expresión cultural debe ser accesible, apreciable para todos, sin importar su origen, su género o situación económica.
That is why culture should now be considered a human right, a master key that unlocks the doors of identity, expression, and mutual understanding. In this era of global interconnectedness, digital democratization has accelerated access to culture in unimaginable ways. Every play, every cultural expression should be accessible to all and appreciated by all, regardless of their background, gender, or economic status.
La cultura tejida en los corazones y las historias de las comunidades no debe estar encerrada en un rincón oscuro al que solo unos pocos privilegiados tienen acceso. Por el contrario, debe estar al alcance de todos. Al reconocer la cultura como un derecho humano, estamos asegurando que cada individuo tenga la oportunidad de explorar, aprender y participar en la riqueza de la expresión creativa que nos une como especie.
Culture woven into the hearts and the stories of communities should not be locked away in a dark corner to which only a privileged few have access. Instead, it should be within reach to all. By recognizing culture as a human right, we are ensuring that every individual has an opportunity to explore, learn, and participate in the wealth of creative expression that unites us as a species.
Nuestro viaje por el impacto del teatro y la cultura en la sociedad nos lleva también a enfrentar los desafíos actuales que plantean preguntas cruciales sobre cómo nutrir nuestras tradiciones frente a situaciones complejas como la apropiación cultural y la necesidad de mantener un equilibrio entre la innovación y la preservación del patrimonio. La era digital, que nos ha brindado el regalo de la democratización, también presenta la preocupación de cómo salvaguardar la autenticidad en medio del mar de información y de expresiones efímeras.
Our journey through the impact of theater and culture on society also leads us to confront current challenges that raise crucial questions about how to nurture our traditions in the face of complex situations such as cultural appropriation and the need to maintain a balance between innovation and heritage preservation. The digital age, which has given us the gift of democratization, also presents a concern of how to safeguard authenticity amidst the sea of information and ephemeral expressions.
El acceso ampliado y la difusión global también exigen una responsabilidad social más profunda. Los creadores y consumidores de teatro y cultura enfrentan la tarea de discernir entre la expresión auténtica y el oportunismo. En un mundo donde las líneas culturales se entrelazan, es imperativo que celebremos las influencias cruzadas sin perder de vista el respeto y el reconocimiento de las raíces y las historias originales.
Expanded access and global dissemination also demand a deeper social responsibility. Creators and consumers of theater and culture face the task of discerning between an authentic expression and an opportunistic one. In a world where cultural lines intertwine, it is imperative that we celebrate intersecting influences without losing sight of the respect and recognition original roots and stories deserve.
Reflexionemos sobre estas palabras mientras navegamos por las aguas cambiantes de la cultura. A medida que enfrentamos estos desafíos, recordemos que en cada actuación, en cada coreografía, en cada expresión creativa, estamos dejando una huella en el tejido de la sociedad. A medida que continuamos explorando, creando y compartiendo, construyamos un mundo donde el teatro y la cultura no solo sean expresiones de belleza, sino también catalizadores de cambio, unión y evolución.
Let us reflect on these words as we navigate the shifting waters of culture. As we face these challenges, let us remember that in every performance, in every choreography and creative expression, we are leaving an imprint on the fabric of society. As we continue to explore, create, and share, let us build a world where theater and culture are not only expressions of beauty, but also catalysts for change, union, and evolution.
La cultura no solo es un conjunto de ideas y expresiones, es un abrazo cálido que nos envuelve en la historia de nuestro pueblo, en cada tejido, en cada aroma y en cada bocado. Encontramos la pasión y el amor que se ha transmitido de generación en generación. Estos colores, olores y sabores son un recordatorio constante de la riqueza que nuestras culturas aportan a la humanidad. Nos invitan a explorar, a celebrar y a compartir, y en ellos encontramos una conexión profunda que trasciende las palabras y toca nuestros corazones.
Culture is not only a set of ideas and expressions, it is a warm embrace that immerses us in the history of our people. In every weaving, aroma, and every bite, we find the passion and love that have been passed down from generation to generation. These colors, smells, and flavors are a constant reminder of the richness of our cultures bring to humanity. They invite us to explore, celebrate, and share, and in them we find a deep connection that transcends words and touches our hearts.
En el tejido de mi vida, la cultura ha sido el hilo dorado que ha cosido mis experiencias, mis desafíos y mis triunfos en una trama vibrante y única. A través del teatro y la cultura he encontrado sanación, empoderamiento y una conexión con los demás que trasciende cualquier barrera. En ese sentido, les invito a llevar con ustedes la inspiración y el compromiso de seguir tejiendo un mundo donde el teatro y la cultura sean un faro de esperanza, factor de transformación, un puente de entendimiento, una fuerza positiva de cambio, testimonio de la belleza y la diversidad de la vida humana.
In the fabric of my life, my culture has been the golden thread that has stitched my experiences, my challenges, and my triumphs into vibrant and unique weave. Through theater and culture, I have found healing, empowerment, and a connection with others that goes beyond any barrier. In that sense, I invite you to take with you the inspiration and commitment to continue weaving a world where theater and culture are a beacon of hope, a force for transformation and a bridge of understanding, and a positive force for change as we witness the beauty and diversity of human life.
Bat Ekola Balik, muchas gracias.
Okay, everybody. Well, thank you again for coming. I think Joan is, Joan and I are going to make a couple of remarks here.
Right. We'd like to thank the Mexican Institute on the part of Petrona, who is delighted to learn that the students will receive copies of her speech. I made that up. We'd like to thank the Amsterdam News and co-editor Karen Juanita Carrillo.
And I want to thank you all again for coming tonight. And to all of our speakers, and you know, special acknowledgement to the superhuman efforts of the team. Joan, Melody, Jessica, Melanie, yes. Yeah, sure. Brooke and all of our volunteers. Now we've got some treats for you in the faculty lounge. So won't you stay and meet our wonderful International Theater women, and we'll see you in 3 years. Thank you.